Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for the TNA Event Center report. And now here's the man to give you all the total non-stop action and impactful report, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 2143 of the show. It's April the 3rd, 2025, 11:16 p.m. Technically, tomorrow will be my final day of the work week for me because I'll be going on vacation the next week. I had to use up my vacation hours before I lose them next month. And May is my hiring date. Like this coming May will be my 15th year working as a housekeeper in the Dartmouth Mall. But in June, it will mark 30 years since I worked at the mall overall. As you know, I started at Ruby Tuesday at the mall back in 1995. Boy, can't believe 1995 was 30 years ago. In fact, this coming week I'm taking a vacation on, will mark 30 years in this house. 30 whole years in this house. I've been in this house since 18. Moving from the West End of New Bedford to here in the North End. Unbelievable. And you know what, though? It has been a long, long time. And believe me. Believe me. Now, you got to look around. And was it this month, last marked 45 years ago that I moved to the West End in New Bedford when I was a kid. I was only 3 years old when it happened, too. Because I used to, when I was a baby, I lived in the South End for 3 short years. And in 1980, I moved to the West End of New Bedford. And, yeah, the West End of New Bedford was a lot of my childhood that was there, I usually drive by. I think I'm tempted to drive by the old neighborhood tomorrow after work. Well, we'll see what happens, because that's going to be a crazy deal. But, anyways, nonetheless, this coming, like I said, a lot of milestones happening this year, and one of those milestones will be this coming week. It will be 30 years living in this house. 30 years. Unbelievable. So, and basically, the moving here changed my life forever. And it changed my life some good ways, some bad ways, whatever. A lot of changes had to be made. All right, then, but the biggest change also was this. You know what I mean? Let's kick it off. Joe Hendry kicked off at TNA Impact to join Tom Hennepin and Matthew Rayl on commentary as Elijah, one of his good friends, took on Frankie Kazarian, the Call Your Shot trophy winner. And Frankie Kazarian did win the matchup over Elijah, and Joe Hendry, not happy about that, started attacking Frankie Kazarian. He hurt his shoulder in the process while security was separating the two of them, and also Elijah was trying to make peace, and so he had to be checked out by the doctor, and checked out by the medic, and they were evaluating him. So, the doctor says his shoulder is separated, but you're going to have to need time to heal up. Rebellion's not happening until April the 27th. Meanwhile, April 17th is Unbreakable. And he was telling Joe Hendry he needs to rest. He needs to rest up. But we're taking you to the hospital. Then Eddie Edwards comes out to address the St. Joseph crowd, and he feels that the system, losing match after match after match, he says it's not sharing his vision, but he's going to give an ultimatum of whether they're going to in or out. So the rest of the system come out, and when Alicia Edwards went like this, all the others just basically separated it. And so Eddie Edwards tells each and every one, are you in or are you out? He asks JDC first, he says he's in. He asks Brian Myers next. Brian Myers says he's in. He asks his wife Alicia. Alicia just made out with him. Got 2 words for you, Eddie and Alicia. Get a room. Only kid. I had my picture taken with them. It was an honor, though, nonetheless. Then he went to Moose to ask him, and then Cody Deaner interrupted the whole thing. And basically asked the audience if should Moose be in or out. Moose booted him in the face, and then they all stomped away on Cody Deaner, and Moose definitely says he's in the system, still within the system. So, Gia Miller interviewed Masha Slamovich, the Knockouts champ, Zaya Brookside Lee, as Masha Slamovich prepares for her Knockouts title defense against Tessa Blanchard, and then promised that she'll send JC Jane and Jasmine Nix back to NXT. Then Santino Marella confronted the systems. He says he's got 2 people qualifying for the Ultimate X. It is Leon Slater, and he said, check your phone, because Matt Cardona and Moose informed him that Matt Cardona was the next guy to join Ultimate X and Rebellion. Ariana Grace, the liaison between NXT TNA, joins Hennepin and Raywell on commentary as Spitfire, the team of Danny Luna and Jody Threat, former TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, went up against the Meta Girls. That will be Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. And the Meta Girls, despite a little miscommunication, ended up winning that matchup. Meanwhile, Tatum Paxley and the lovely, gorgeous, curvaceous DG Dolan was watching in the back while eating popcorn. So Mike Santana introduces his friend Derek to Santino Marella, got him a job over with the TNA crew. Santino Marella says, let me show you around. The Hardys come out to address the Nemeth, but Tasha Steelz and the Grey Hands interrupts the Hardys and challenges them for a match for the belts. But Santino Marella says, you know what? We'll make it a non-title matchup, and if you guys win, you'll get a shot to tag titles. Then the match happened between the Hardys and Grey Hands, and the Hardys end up losing the matchup. Meanwhile, Ryan Nemeth was watching in the back, and he started sarcastically clapping, dissing the Hardys. Leon Slater then confronts Ryan Nemeth and starts getting to his face, and then security had to separate those 2 guys after pushes and shoves. But a medical update on Joe Hendry. He has a separated shoulder and is questionable to return to action. On this subject, Gia Miller interviewed Dr. Azer about that. And he says all depends on the person. Meanwhile, Steph DeLander and Mance Warner addresses the St. Joseph's crowd, claiming that they're the best teenage digital media champions ever. And then and they were making out. Again, just like the Edwards says, Steph DeLander and Mance Warner get a room. And Santino Marella says, we got kids here. We don't need to see any of that. I thought they were going to put Edge and Lita. But then he says, I'm going to introduce a new title. So you got to give me the digital media title. It's over with and done. I'm going to introduce the TNA International Championship. And there'll be special 3-way matches, qualifying matches. And the winners of those matches will face each other at Unbreakable to crown the first ever TNA International Champion. As you know, the 3-way dance would be honoring a legendary match in TNA and Unbreakable between AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe. And in fact, Unbreakable will take place 10 days before Rebellion at Unbreakable. So as he demanded the Steph DeLander to give him the digital media title, Mance Warner's about to attack, but then Sami Callihan attacked him, and then that caused Steph DeLander to scream in fear, drop the title. Said baby, and then afterwards, Sami Callihan picked up the digital media title and handed over to Santino Marella, and that's going to be morphed into the International Championship. So, Derek was kidnapped by the Best Hands, and along with Tasha Steelz. He was brought to Mustafa Ali, telling him that he's an addict, he's this, he's that, berating him. I think Mustafa Ali is, he's trying to do that to get inside Mike Santana's head, and so they said, why don't you let him go? They're addicts. They never stop. So George Iceman and Heather by Elegance were addressing Elegance on vacation, and they decided that George Iceman decided that the person that would be perfect for the Elegance brand, Maggie Lee, the TNA newcomer. So they went off and got some plans of how to get Maggie Lee into the fold. Meanwhile, Santino Marella decided to pick international title participants from his ball tumbler and his beautiful balls, which is too funny. He picked the first three names. It'll be Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, and Steve Macklin. And El Hijo del Vikingo will be at the Ultimate X and will be qualifying. Will be there as well. Along with Leon Slater and Matt Cardona, the Ultimate X is going to be shaping up to be big. Women's trios matchup, Lei Ying Lee, Zaya Brookside, and TNA Knockouts champ Masha Slamovich. Talking about internationally flavored team right there. You got Lei Ying Lee from China, Zaya Brookside from England, and Masha Slamovich from Maharashtra. And went up against Tessa Blanchard and the Fatal Influence team of JCJ and Jasmine Nix. Meanwhile, and Fallon Henley was in their corner, probably playing a part to help Fatal Influence and Tessa Blanchard win their matchup. And that's what they did. Santino Marella then picks the next three names for the the TNA International Title Tournament, as Sami Callihan, Eric Young, and JDC was chosen next. Then Mike Santana, along with some security guards, found Derek in a closet, and he says, "I'm sorry." And it seems like Mike Santana knew that Mustafa Ali's doing this to play mind games with Derek. And play mind games with Mike Santana. Oh, I messed that up so bad. With Mike Santana. Meanwhile, Santino Marella was next, put in the last three names: Zachary Wentz, AJ Francis, and Mance Warner. Callahan, though, wants Warner and demands from Marella, "I want a trade." And he says, "Here you go. Fine, you got the trade." I don't know who. It doesn't matter whoever. Let's see, where are we going here? So we can, whoever faces Eric, and that means whoever did either Zachary Wentz or AJ Francis will have to face Eric Young and JDC. And then Craig Kazarian comes out to address the St. Joseph crowd, says he'll about who would face who would face Joe Hendry for the title at Rebellion, and he decided that he'll cash in his Call Your Gauntlet title match, his trophy at Rebellion. But then a shock, the lights went out. Ethan Page made his return technically to TNA, and he said that he's the one that signed on the dotted line for the TNA title against Eric Young. But when Frank Kazarian tried to hit him with the trophy, Ethan Page booted him out of the ring. And then Kazarian says, "Not on my watch." Nope. Well, it may not be, because I think Ricky States may have something to say about that after what Ethan Page did to him this past Tuesday. So, kill him with a smile, All Ego. So that is it. That's all the time we have on this show. Episode 2143 is complete. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As you know, tomorrow we got Bullseye and SmackDown going back to regular 8 o'clock. Can't wait for that. So, thank you very much for tuning in. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and door for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.